Hey YouTube, it's Marita and welcome to another edition of the Nurse Lounge. And in this edition, we are going to continue my narcissistic marriage, my road to recovery. And we're going to talk about specifically that I had I don't know what the title is going to be, but something along the lines of when you are someone who is trying to get out of a relationship, there are men who actually prey on the fact that you are hurting, and they prey on the fact that you're hurting. And this situation happened to be an ex-boyfriend of mine who happened to show back up in my life. You want to hear what happened? Stay tuned. Welcome back. My name is Dr. Marita P. I'm a registered nurse, been a nurse for almost 18 years. And we're going to continue our series with my narcissistic marriage, my road to recovery. And today we're going to talk about specifically when men are attracted to someone who's already hurting, going through a breakup. And I don't know the name of the title, but it'll be on there before, obviously when you see the video. But in my case, I want to talk about how when you are freshly out of your situation with a narcissist, bad relationship even, you will find that men will start to prey on you based off of you hurting. And they listen to your stories and they vow to be everything that your boyfriend or husband was not or was, whatever the situation happens to be, but they turn out to be the exact same person. So in this story time, I'm talking about someone who I had met in high school, who came back into my life after I had, or as I was trying to end the relationship with my husband. And he came back into my life, basically trying to be a comforter, trying to, be the person to talk to, and probably I think the hopes of getting back together again after the fact. Very supportive initially. But then I started noticing some things with him. And what I noticed was he would intentionally do things to get me upset. He would yell for no reason. And then I would find my energy to be disrupted. Like I would be upset, why are you yelling at me? He would yell and I'm yelling back. Instead of me saying, first of all, you're not going to yell at me and this conversation is over. I wasn't in that mind space yet. I was still, I would say that you're not going to yell at me, but then we would go back and forth. He realized I didn't mean it in the sense that it was over, that, whatever. And he would start to hang up on me. He would start to just do things that was disrespectful, but then turn around and come back and act like nothing ever happened. Sound familiar, huh? That's what the narcissists tend to do. When you discover that your ex-boyfriend was also a narcissist, someone you dated in high school, who's come back to you later in life, that you think that, he could probably be something good. He, a great career, great father. So it seemed anyway. Could financially take care and support someone, was willing to do so, would send money, things like that to help with whatever. I began to realize that yet I was dealing with yet another narcissist. And after about 6 months of this, right? On and off, we wouldn't speak for about a month or so. Then he'll come back. And I'm like, okay, why would I want to get back into another toxic relationship with someone who is doing the exact same thing? But this one had money. Let me tell you, that's how they bait you. They listen to your stories. They vow to be everything that the other person was not. And they turn around and do the exact same things to you. Watch your energy when you're around these people. People in general, watch your energy. Watch how these people make you feel. If you feel yourself getting anxious when you see the phone number come across your phone, or getting anxious when you see an email with their name on it, or getting anxious. That's not good. We need to start listening to our bodies and realizing, okay, this is what's going on with me. This is not a good thing. I need to stop this. And I was too weak to do so. Why? Because his conversation was so good. Despite all of that, his conversation was great. We could talk for hours, so hours and hours. We could talk for hours, literally all night long. Literally, when I had to go work at the hospital, he would stay up and he would text me to make sure I'm okay all day. They don't sleep. Narcissists don't sleep. Or if they get very little at that. When I tell you, I did not realize I was dealing with another narcissist until he would say, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just watching videos on narcissism and narcissism. And things. Why? And then I start getting yelled at. Why are you watching those kind of videos? Why are you filling your head with those nonsense? Red flag. I know that now. Red flag. Most people in their right mind, right, will want you to get the help that you need. Oh, you don't need no therapy. You don't need, I can, you just need somebody to talk to. And I'm going to be one to talk to. They try to isolate you. That's what he was trying to do. He was someone who I thought was a great friend. If you needed something, the things that men supposed to do in terms of taking care of you, things that men are supposed to do in terms of being a protector. Let's not get protector confused with possessive, controlling. And anytime you're coming out of a fresh situation, you can't discern between the two. Because sometimes we're so afraid to be alone that conversation with somebody is better than nobody. We rather be hurt with somebody there than to hurt alone initially and then move on and get peace from it. I had to learn so quick. And even today, let me be honest with you, even today, I miss our conversations. They were great conversations. They were deep. He was very much intellectual. We could talk about anything, and I mean anything, nothing. And I'm not even talking about anything sexual, nothing like that. He was just a great conversationalist. I mean, we could debate, healthy debate. We could talk about politics. We could talk about whatever going on, and he could really engage. And for me, that's what I like. I like someone who can engage and has great conversation, great communication. And in that light, he did have great communication. But otherwise, he does not. Narcissists don't. They are charming people. They know what to say to you to get you to do what they need you to do. He said, I'll buy you a house, whatever I wanted to do. I don't want you to work. For a lot of women, that's attractive. Like, oh, I don't have to work. Okay. For a lot of women, that's very attractive. Now, I have to work. I want to work. So there's nothing wrong with, for me, I'm okay with, working or whatever. But he didn't want me to work. So my whole point is they like to prey upon whatever is going on with you. Do not be that person. Don't be like me and get caught up in this mental, emotional relationship with someone when you haven't even let go of the person that you were with before. And you're not ready to move on because the only thing you do is cling on to, or people cling on to you who they know you're hurt and they plan to prey off of that because they want to count on your loneliness. And again, it'd be the people who already know you sometimes. So don't let these people do that. I had a weak moment. I mean, immediately, I'm talking about this 2 years after the fact, mind you. This happened in 2020 when, in the midst of the pandemic, we couldn't really see people, FaceTime and just different things like that that would be the only way we could see people or, talk on the phone. And let me tell you what else he did was suspicious too. I would see his Facebook posts, right? And I hadn't seen, now mind you, we have been knowing each other since high school. He got back in contact with me in February of 2020 of that year. And then we start really talking pretty heavily by, say, March, April of that year. Like on a daily basis, texting and things like that. He was in Japan because he was in the military at the time and he was different time zones. So you know how that works. So his days were my nights and vice versa. And, so we're texting, we're messaging and so forth. This seems, like you just got a relationship, you found somebody new already. That's what we tend to do when you're lonely and you want somebody to talk to or whatever. And someone pays you some attention. You're like, okay, you know what? Okay, he sounds great. As I was saying in his IG video, his IG post, I hadn't seen him, mind you, since we were in high school, or since, no, after high school. Again, he is in the military. He's out of the country. Again, all of this I'm telling you sound like red flags now, right? It didn't seem so much of a red flag back then. I hadn't seen him. I remember what he looked like. Um, but my question was like, okay, well, send me a picture. Send me a picture. And he would send pictures. But they seemed to be pictures that was like, is this what he really looks like? I said, he still looks young. Oh, I can't send you pictures in my this, my that, and the other. This is the military. That would show my location and this, that, and the other. Things just did not add up. But I'm like, okay, if that's the case. But then he would post pictures as if it was himself. And I would show these pictures that this is not what I remember him looking like. And somebody said to me, oh, because that's not him. That's a wrestler or a boxer from another country. He was using IG pictures of somebody, of a famous somebody. I'm like, because he didn't look like that. And post these pictures as if it was himself. And I'm like, this man is crazy. And guess who's still talking to him? Yes, me. And then one day we had this big blow up. And I'm telling you, I love talking to this person. It was just about the talking. And I decided that, you know what, I am done talking to this person. Like, I cannot go from a situation that I'm already in that's bad to something like this that's worse. So I finally decided I was done talking to him, and I cut him off altogether. It has been about a year, almost 2 years since I spoke, maybe a year and a half since I spoke to him. And I mean, when I say speak to him, I mean like via Messenger or IG or whatever it happens to be. So he doesn't, he'll sit there and send messages randomly, but I've now blocked him from the accounts or whatever. And I'm glad I did, because now looking back on it 2 years later, I'm like, he was a narcissist. Everything that I said that was wrong, he wanted to be the savior for. When I think back on it, that's what my husband did. Everything that was going wrong in my life, he played the savior for it. That's what narcissists do when they're trying to groom you. They play the savior for everything. You're a damsel in distress, and they definitely help you initially. But mentally, they're tearing you down. They're grooming you the entire time until you fall back into the same situation you was already in. Don't be like me. I'm glad, again, that was 2 years ago. I'm able to talk about it now. Again, he's someone else who has narcissistic, like, I can spot them a mile away now. And then when I spot them a mile away, I don't even look back. I don't even look back. I'm like, you got problems. I can tell that, and I keep it moving. Can you tell the signs? Are you aware? Have you noticed yourself that you may have some signs of people that you like, you know what? I need to kind of stay away from these kind of people. There's something that you don't know about them. There's something that's kind of off about them. Let those be the signs and symptoms to let you know that, hey, this person's not the one. So I'm going to end this video here. As you can see, I'm in a much better space now. Much better space than I was before. And I want you to do one other thing. As I'm going to elaborate a little bit more about this in another video, I want you to go back and see the person who I am now versus look at some of those old videos and do a comparison. And to see, I was definitely in a different mental headspace. You will see a lot of clutter around me when I did some of my videos. That's what depression looks like. I went back and watched some of those videos, or maybe you all have commented on an old video, and I'll go back and watch part of it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my room was cluttered. That's what depression looks like. Because we're smiling, because we are, just because you don't threaten to do something harmful to yourself doesn't mean you're not depressed. Just because you're smiling and going out doesn't mean you're not depressed. Sometimes depression manifests itself in terms of what your environment looks like. If your environment's chaotic, it's a reflection of what's going on in your mind. Go back and look at those old videos. No, you don't even have to watch the whole video. Just go back and click on some and look in the environment. I was in my room, and that same area is still there, but it's cleaner now. It's much more cleaner. So as you go watch those videos, just, kind of pop in on some of them and see what you think. And like, okay, yeah, I can kind of come back to this one and comment. Like, yeah, I can kind of see where things are different. The environment behind me now, it's simple. You know, it's. I mean, not that the other area wasn't clean, but it's not cluttered. I have my throw, some pillows. That's it. You know, I'm in a much better headspace, and it's been almost 2 years. So I'm doing this video for those of you who are going through this journey, whether it be a breakup, whether it be a narcissistic journey, whatever it happens to be. Know that it does get better. Um, and I'm going to do another video on healing and what that looks like. So stay tuned for that. But I'm going to close this one out here. Definitely, I encourage your comments in the comment section, and I looking forward to engaging with you. But until the next time, you all take care. Bye bye.